Guys, welcome to Collarwood Boxing Gym. So today I just want to talk about the difference between winning gloves, specifically 14 ounce and 16 ounce gloves. Which glove would be best for boxer or average person as well? Short answer is 14 ounce is one I would recommend for just any person who's an enthusiast and enjoys high quality gear. I do believe that winning is the best gear, and that's why I have 3 sets, and I think that Mayweather has the most, and maybe I might have the second most in the world. So that may be it. So right now this is a 14 ounce glove. It's a custom pair. It's black gold. So you can see like the Winnings has the 14 stitched or kind of screen printed there, right? And then using a custom Winning logo. Generally, this is the logo that they use for all the Winning gear as well. So this one is a 16 ounce. It's a custom. It's full gold as well. I chose Velcro. And the main difference between the 14s and the 16s is the width, right? So my hands are quite small, but it's perfect on a 14 ounce, especially when you have hand wraps on them. On a 16 ounce glove, it's a lot bigger, and it feels a bit too wide for me. I don't quite like it, but you know what? Like, we all aspire to 16, so that's what I wear. Generally, like, the standard make is all the same, but these 16s, they're a little bit different, and I'll make a video later talking about the difference between Velcro and lace-ups. It actually is a bit different as well. So Velcros, they surprisingly feel a bit lighter as well, and that's because of the weight distribution. So anyway, so when we just talk about the 14s, I'll give you a demonstration of what they look at, but these Winning gloves last forever. My first set I bought 7 years ago. It's still pretty good. Like, the gloves are kind of worn down. The groin guard's still good. The headgear, there's a bit of the seams that kind of cut off, but I got someone to sew it back up. It's still all good. So yeah, so what separates Winnings from other gloves, and why am I such an enthusiast that I've spent a lot of money on this gear, right? So Winning, as a boxer, the most important thing about it is the longevity. You're only as strong as your weakest body part, and any fighter knows that when you have a wrist injury, you pretty much can't even use that wrist. Even if it's a minor sprain, you got to tape it up, and when you're thinking about it, it stuffs up everything. You know what I mean? Like, I hurt my knuckles because I punched the wall, and then I punched the fence with my left hand, and that stuffed me for about like a month, and I'm still like, I still have to really take careful consideration about it. So there's longevity, right? But there's a balance between longevity and performance, and that's really the key part, right? Performance-wise, Winning, and this is one that people don't really talk about, has really good ergonomics, right? The ergonomics, what does that really mean? It means that when you put a Winning glove on, when you punch with a glove, you actually use automatically good technique, right? Other gloves, the way they're designed, you can't make a proper fist, and making a proper fist is really important. So when you look at what makes a proper fist, right, it's hard because when you have the Winning gloves, this is a normal fist. This ends up being the fist that you kind of make, but there is a small bar here. Like, I'm not too sure what it's called or what it's made of, but it lets you kind of close a nice fist. Other gloves, you kind of make a hollow fist, right? And then some of them are a bit weird. Some of the thumbs are a bit weird, a bit funny. But Winning, it has that formula, right, where it's just natural. And this way, if your fist is kind of hollow, there's a greater chance of just your hand not being as stable. And so when you punch, that lack of stability will cause some issues, especially when you're trying to, there's a lot more movement. You want your hands to be tight when you're throwing some punches, and this fist, as you can imagine, if you're doing like a push-up or anything, that's how the weight transfers throughout your entire body. All right, so that's what we have to think about right now when I talk about the ergonomics. And the ergonomics also does influence how you throw proper punches as well. It's all about being intuitive with your training. If you train enough, you can figure it out naturally, and that's what I like about Winnings. You wear Winnings, all of a sudden most hand problems and knuckle problems and like the way you hit the bag and the placement, it gets automatically resolved, and that's why I really enjoy it. Okay, Velcro Winnings versus lace-up Winnings. Okay, so this is my first pair that I bought 7 years ago, and this one is I bought a bit recently as well. This one's a custom pair, and this one's a stock standard one that you can get. Still looks pretty good for 7 years, a bit worn out, but when I first bought my pair of Winnings, I was like, yeah, the pros are finding lace-ups, I'm gonna get lace-ups as well. Looking back, do I regret the decision? Potentially, but yeah, probably. Like, I never used the lace-ups at all when I was using it. and I still don't. I mean, like, because I'm still an amateur, right? So with these lace and loops, it does make it a bit easier. But there are some differences between the gloves. These are both 16s. For some reason, this one feels a bit heavier. I'm not too sure if the build quality is the same, but maybe this one was like a defective pair or something. It is like kind of a faded gold, but it feels lighter than this one. And that might be because of the weight distribution. Even though it looks like, there's a bit more weight down at the wrist, this one feels more top heavy for some reason. And these lace-ups are good because they provide a lot more knuckle padding, and that's exactly what we want. That's why Winnings are considered, one of the most protected gloves that you can buy. So with laces, you can actually provide a bit more wrist tension if you want that extra support around your wrist, and you can kind of like really mix it up and make it a bit tighter. These ones is just Velcro. That's all the convenience. So that's really the main thing when you want to kind of slide them on and slide them off. I was hesitant about getting the Velcro in the beginning because when Velcro wears out and it fades, you can't use it anymore. But Winning has really good Velcro, right? Like it pretty much stays consistent. I've seen other people with their Winnings, and there's not too many changes as well. So the Velcro is not much of a problem. You can actually get double Velcro as well in the custom glove, and I'll talk about that one a bit later as well. So with this one, I mean, when I bought it, unless you plan on turning pro, I wouldn't recommend getting lace ups. I mean, when I first used it, like I said in another video, all I'll do is put I just put it all into the glove. I'll just put it all into the glove, then I put my hand in, and I'll just go from there. But because of Kev, there's no wrist support though. The beautiful thing about Winnings is it makes you punch properly, and that's really key. You want to have good ergonomic position, like good ergonomic punching ergonomics, and really that puts your wrist and your fist and your knuckles all in proper position. Because when you throw a punch, there is a transfer of force. It goes down the kinetic chain, like through your wrist, and you want to make sure your wrist is nice and solid. Some gloves, they put your wrist in a really bad position, and if you don't have a solid fist, like the force transfer to your legs and can transfer into certain joints, certain bone areas, certain parts of your hand, and that can cause the area, right? Any injury that you get, it really depends if you pass that threshold. As soon as you pass the threshold, that's when you get an injury, and that's why I like Winnings, and that's why these gloves are still kind of held up. Velcro versus lace-ups. Yeah, lace-ups I probably would recommend only if you're thinking about turning pro or if you want some extra padding. Generally, the standards for lace-ups are pretty like similar. Velcros, for some reason, this one feels a bit light. It doesn't feel as like as solid as a fist, but it's nice and easy, you know what I mean? Like hard sparring, I still use this. Winnings are Winnings, you know what I mean? Like the deviation of build quality and standards, they don't move too far. Generally, the Japanese are very good. It's all handcrafted, it's all artisan. There's a reason why it's expensive. So I would definitely recommend Winning. If you like are an enthusiast and an amateur, Velcros are great. If you want that extra protection, maybe a bit more wrist protection, right? But I tell you, man, if you have a Winning glove, you don't really need that much wrist protection, unless your technique isn't quite the best. But just thrash it. Yeah, you can do that with Winnings. The longevity of Winning gloves. This one is my first pair that I've ever received. I bought them 7 years ago. Yeah, so I'm going to talk to you about what the wear and tear has gone through them. And these ones, I've thrashed this. I thrashed them super hard. So if you come and have a bit of a close up, right? I'll talk you through them. So come in a bit closer. Yep. So what we see is this pair. The only issue I have with it now is because of it's been worn down. Probably because I've been punching wrong. As a beginner, you don't really know how to punch that properly. But so as a result, I just use these as for sparring gloves, and I kind of just hang them up as well. And these are lace and I use lace and loops as well. So like these ones just help me tie the laces up a bit quicker. When you first start, right, you see the pros all fighting lace ups and you think, oh yeah, I want to be cool like them as well. I probably should have bought Velcros, because in the end, the way I use them was I'll just put my hands in and I just stuff the string in there, because no one can be bothered really tying lacing up your gloves. Like it's a bit of a hassle. It's good if you're a pro, you know what I mean? You got a coach and you got to kind of tie it up. It does give you a little bit of specific like wrist stability as well. But you know, that's how it goes. So when you look at these gloves after 7 years, the right one looks pretty good, you know what I mean? And because it's winning, right, even though it's hard for me to really use it anymore, I keep them around because it's winning, right? Like, I mean, 7 years ago it was a bit cheaper. I bought them for maybe $320. The price has gone up now, yeah. Like, and it just keeps going up because Japan, they really focus on the quality, and that's a good cause for any reason. Other than that, you know, there hasn't been too much wear and tear. If you come in a bit closer again, yep. So yeah, there has been a little bit there. You know, some of the levers come off. This part here, I tried to, you know, just salvage this by having tape just to block it from getting any worse. Yeah, is what it is. It did work, but yeah, I don't really care as much about that anymore, so I just keep it like that.